Hello everyone, in this video we will be seeing movie 10, and guys, this will be the end of What If Naruto Was in the DC Universe. So be sure to stick around until the end. Let's get started. The Treasures of Heaven. It was the ultimate power of light and anti-demon strike against an opponent. It trapped the opponent into a matrix of illusions and destroyed them through 6 stages. Each stage obliterated one of the opponent's 5 human senses cumulatively, and after that it destroyed their powers. Focusing great amount of his power, Naruto took out one of the biggest threats on the battlefield. Now, let us end this farce. Naruto gathered huge amounts energy from multiple dimensions to end the battle and cut out the risk of his defeat. Naruto sent Supergirl and Power Girl to fight Superman, Witchblade and Donna to fight against Diana, Silver Banshee to fight Enchantress, Livewire, Killer Frost and Pamela to fight against the Green Lanterns, Aquaman against Batman, and King Croc and Earth King to fight against Lex Luthor. All his subordinates had been boosted to star level at minimum, so they could handle their foes while Naruto could focus on the dangerous enemies. Aura of the Emperor spread once again, and Naruto adding new settings to it, the power of compulsion. Forcing them to block, Naruto's eyes shone over them and stole their speed. With the foes slowed down, Naruto rushed forward while he took hold of his giant war axe that had been fused to his powers. Naruto's awakening of the Rinnegan had been the last step into helping Kurama become the real 10-tailed beast, meaning that he had become a Jubi Jinchuriki and gained the core powers. Just like the sword of Nunaboku that was owned by the Sage of Six Paths, Naruto's main weapon became part of his very being. It was his soul weapon and part of his sage powers. With the axe in his hand, Naruto's powers were further increased and he finally wore his armor once more. It was time for the battle of attrition to start, so he couldn't risk any damage and loss of energy. With the armor and axe, Naruto's powers were amplified further, and with a single slash he broke reality itself. Everything ceased to exist within his range. Flash, Parasite, Merlin, Olorun, Shiva and Pangu were unable to even react as they were erased, while Ultima, Amazo, Belial and Artorias survived with difficulty. Ultima focused all his energy to cancel Naruto's attack, and even then he barely survived with half his body. Amazo only survived as a finger and took a short form as he couldn't regenerate what had been lost. Artoria managed to block the attack with her holy lance that stopped the powerful move. However, the pressure from the attack caused damage to her body. Belial survived because of his high power level that was above Naruto. He was the son of Trigon and one of the rulers of the underworld, so his power was above solar system level. Belial was powerful enough to destroy a galaxy, and it made him the strongest foe on the battlefield. However, Belial was restrained in the mortal world and couldn't fight at full capacity without permission. With Merlin's death he was set free, and so he vanished from the battlefield since he didn't want to risk getting hurt pointlessly while his powers were sealed. Let this end with a bang, partner. Naruto called on Kurama and the darkness gave way to the golden fox opening its maw from above. The foes tried to escape the range, but Naruto's golden chains had captured them and restrained their powers. Without a stop, Kurama unleashed the most powerful Bijou beam ever released. It was extremely potent and contained the power of destruction and death. The beam didn't travel a distance as it appeared in front of the targets instantly, and kept on going for a few seconds. The beam traveled beyond the solar system and erased everything that came in its way, causing stars to explode and erasing planets. With that attack, everyone was dead. Naruto was left alone with his team. Whoever you are, I will find you one day and show you pain beyond reason. I will not kill you. I will imprison you for eternity and experiment on you. You will regret the day that you cross this emperor. Naruto spoke to the empty space with an intense and cold tone filled with bloodlust. With those words, Naruto snapped his finger and caused the destruction of the solar system by releasing the power of destruction. The power of the truth-seeking balls was easier for Naruto to use, and he could release it as energy unlike the usual ball form. Plus, he wasn't limited by balls and could use it infinitely. Finished with the destruction, Naruto started flying with the intention to continue his destruction, and with the torture of his enemy on his mind. All his desires were true. He wouldn't stop killing until his plan became reality. He had come too far to stop now. He was still unable to reverse time and revive others. He couldn't use any of his powers for it. It meant that the enemy was still suppressing him. It was also the reason that his power of compulsion didn't control the targets. I will never allow you to win. You will not survive this battle. Vin was angered beyond reason at being challenged by a lower being and even feeling fear from the disgustingly dark thoughts inside Naruto. He had never seen such vile images in his life. People from his world never had such thoughts, they were mostly child. He had taken Naruto as the other player, and his survival meant a loss, so it was impossible for it to end. Without any hesitation, Vin brought back all the powerful beings on the planet and restarted the battle once again. Naruto smiled at the appearance of the enemies and attacked. His plan was working, and he just needed to survive at least 100 battles before the enemy lost patience. Unlike before, Naruto didn't hold back at all and killed everyone in record time. The death was undone, and he killed them again. While Naruto was fighting, something was happening in his sanctuary. A gift from the unknown. Naruto's pocket dimension was almost impossible to find as he had used his full capabilities to form it. It held the power of multiple stars and was hard to point down. It was known as the Infinite Maze, however it had thousands of layers filled with traps and false planets that only the adventurous beings would find it. However, these layers seemed to have been bypassed by an unknown being, and some people directly appeared on his home base. These people belonged to the Legion of Superheroes from the future, who had been blown back into the past because of a disastrous battle with the Emerald Empress. The members were known as Cosmic Boy, Leviathan, Brainiac 5, Element Lad and Kid Quantum. They had been the unlucky ones to be sent into the past along with their enemy Saria. The 6 beings were dazed because of the explosion that sent them back, but Saria managed to get back into control faster than them. With the Emerald Eye of Ekron, she was about to finish off her adversaries when the defenses activated. Just because someone managed to bypass the Infinite Maze didn't mean the home base was left untouched. The planet itself was extremely big in size and had powerful defenses. On the planet, Naruto applied his rules into the defense system so that no one would forget to live a moral and active life. He didn't want the people to stagnate without him. It was his ultimate system that he had been thinking of applying once the planet had been conquered, so it was still a work in progress since it lacked finer details to fully encourage people, and the reward list was missing for high-level deeds. With the system in place, there was no possible way some weaker being could mess around in the territory. So Saria was easily immobilized for her attempt to murder without any license, and especially for targeting innocent lives. The only people allowed to kill within the territory were people with the authority, and even that was a rare case, since Naruto didn't expect such occurrences to take place later on. Naruto would take care of those things personally with the system and let his people focus on the outside. "What is going on?" Element Lad questioned, as he witnessed the impossible foe get frozen with utter ease. There was no resistance at all, and even the Eye of Ekron was sealed by a black box. To answer his question, the system took the form of its lord and appeared to them. "Intruders of the sanctuary, why have you come here?" Looking at the form, the members immediately recognized him as the Emperor of Mankind. Even though they came from 100 years in the future, the Emperor was one of the most legendary figures in history of the universe. He was one of the ultimate beings with the potential to grow to a realm beyond the mortal realm. However, he had fallen in battle and vanished along with the rest of humanity. His final struggle against the being from above had caused his untimely demise, but even then his place had been cemented in history. Most people knew him, and people looked up to him for his deeds, powers, and his final stand. Looking at the armored figure, the Legion heroes thought that it was another copycat. Many people loved the Emperor or wished to follow his path, so they tried to act like him and copy his appearance. "We don't where this is, and we didn't come here on purpose. There was an explosion and space fractured, and we were sucked into it." Cosmic Boy was the leader of the group, and he stood in front of the Emperor fanboy. They could see that the unknown being wasn't an enemy and wasn't trying to kill them. "I see. I can see that you are good-natured. So you can live in this sanctuary until my lord comes back, or you can pass through the wall of infinity. Please refrain from acts of violence and become productive members of the Empire. I apologize for my inability to help you." The system confirmed their presence and left along with Saria. Saria was put through the torture and rehabilitation process since she was an outsider and not part of the Empire. People that dared to kill anyone in the sanctuary would die instantly. "What did he just say?" Leviathan was completely confused. He was the giant of the team with normal intelligence, so he relied on the other members to think through the complex things. Wall of Infinity? Brainiac 5 was one of the smartest beings in existence, just like his predecessor Brainiac. However, he had no knowledge of the term. He knew that there was a book of infinity and other such things, but not a wall. Let me test it, Element Lad said as he took flight and flew towards the atmosphere before unleashing a beam of fire. Normally it should extend into space, but it stopped before it could pass the border. Seeing that there was indeed something stopping them, Element Lad transmuted his body to the strongest element and unleashed a powerful punch. Element Lad's power allowed him to transmute the elements of his body, so he could take on all kinds of properties. It meant that he had the potential to become one of the strongest beings in existence if he continued experimenting like usual, or if he came across powerful elements that could accelerate his ascension. Even with all the power held in his body, there wasn't a reaction from the barrier. It was like hitting a steel wall with human hands. Let us explore this new world before we start dismantling the unknown barrier. Hasty decisions might lead us to our death, since that being is extremely powerful. Brainiac 5 believed that he could analyze the barrier and locate its weaknesses. It would be better if we can convince the owner to let us go. Breaking it would be extremely risky. Cosmic Boy didn't want his team dying, so he was looking for the path with less danger. He seemed nice. Maybe the master wouldn't be so bad. Leviathan shared his thought, and the others couldn't disagree. Let's move, or we will be standing here all day. We are all too tired already, so it's better to find a city first. Kid Quantum caught her breath and told them to hurry up. With that decided, the team flew without a direction in mind and found a city after some time. The city was like a normal human city since Naruto had yet to add the high-tech elements to it. To the team it was a backward place since it lacked the sci-fi setting. However, it wasn't out of place since not all planets in the future had advanced that much. On the other hand, the presence of human beings was definitely shocking. Brainiac 5 was the one to notice since he was analyzing everything they came across. These people are human beings. How did they survive? Sanctuary. Is this the place where they have been hidden for all this time? Brainiac connected the small amounts of information available and came to the conclusion that they had arrived in the hidden region where Emperor had hidden all of humanity. He hadn't killed them all. Who are you people? Before they could start another round of discussion, they were interrupted by Conan. Knowing that they were moving around, she knew they weren't enemies, but they were still an unknown team. It was her duty to know who was present on the planet and to look after them. The team didn't recognize Conan since her presence was not recorded. Her fights had been secret and she hadn't appeared openly like Naruto. Nonetheless, the team decided to talk to her. Pardon our intrusion, miss. We are from the Legion of Superheroes and my name is Cosmic Boy. I am the leader of this team, and we have arrived in this sanctuary through an accident. If you don't mind, can you explain to us about this place? Is this sanctuary made by the Emperor of Mankind? Legion of Superheroes? Are you people aliens? We are not human and we are not from Earth. Then how did you know about the Emperor? We haven't left Earth's territory for that to happen. Conan was confused by their presence and was trying to piece together a proper picture through these questions. Are you one of the companions of the Emperor? Yes. How long have you been here? This is the first day. Just like Cosmic Boy thought they were in the past, Conan would know that their information would spread over time, so she would have said about them not leaving Earth's region. The Emperor's battle covered multiple solar systems and caused the galaxy to scatter by the end. It was impossible for people to not notice such a destructive battle. You mean to tell me that you are from the future? I believe that we are according to what you are saying since it has been 100% years after the end of the battle. Savior system verify their answer. Conan summoned the system with her authority and even contacted her team. They are telling the truth. Who is the enemy? What is the end of the battle? We can't say the name of the enemy, and Emperor wins the battle at the end. However, it is a terrible end. Emperor dies at the end of the long battle, but the destruction caused by him summons the Spectre and the Balance, which leads to the enemy getting defeated. Cosmic Boy spoke proudly of the battle but stopped when he saw the expression of the woman. He could see that she was close to the Emperor, and his death was like a thorn to her heart. Your presence here means that the higher powers have intervened and decided that the Emperor shall live. Do you know how to defeat this enemy? Dr. Mist appeared as he got the signal and understood that the Emperor had been chosen. His fate was to lead, and the future without him had proved his worthiness. We know the enemy and there is a way to defeat him. However, we will need to send our voices to the area where they are fighting. That shouldn't be difficult. We will arrange for it and put our trust in you. The Doctor mistook the decision to trust them since the team was approved by the system and his own personal opinion. From his final interaction, he had already noticed that the Emperor was preparing for a last stand. Finally, he had met up with Xanadu, and she had already informed him that the path to victory would show itself. From their answer, the enemy was obvious. It was a fifth-dimension imp just like the Emperor had expected. The only reason they hadn't won was because they didn't know the name of the abomination. With victory in their grasp, Dr. Mist asked for Alessa since she had the key to the maze. Nobody would have expected the child to have the key. Plus, she was the strongest being in the sanctuary beside the system because of her power of fear. Going back to the Naruto team in the sanctuary, most of the members weren't happy about being sidelined. All of them were heroes, so selflessness and sacrifice was part of their character. They didn't fear death or hero business wouldn't have been their thing. Nonetheless, they understood why Naruto left them. He trusted them with Earth because survival chances very extremely low. It was their duty to lead and grow to his expectations without his presence. To lead them all, Conan, Dr. Mist, Mood Maiden, Red Hood and Professor Utonium were chosen. Without the Emperor they had no single leader, and only the Council existed to lead the world with the help of the incomplete system. However, not everyone was mature enough to understand this concept, and were greatly influenced by their emotions. Bubbles had been locked up in her room and going through the memories of her time with Naruto. Those memories were very recent and his gifts were all over the room. Naruto was someone that always brought a gift. She had seen the atmosphere during the last meeting and after the meeting. Though she was usually slow on the uptake, Bubbles noticed the somberness. Her instinct told her that Naruto would die in this battle. It was the first time she had been put in a situation where her companion was at the risk of death. It was also the first time that she had fallen for someone. Her childlike personality made her treat everyone like a friend, and most people weren't that open to it, and only treated her like a child. Naruto had been different, and she could tell that it was the truth because of her empathy ability. Connecting with him on a spiritual and emotional level had been very fun. She had found someone that liked living freely, though that was just one aspect of his personality. Bubbles understood that he couldn't just live freely because of his responsibility. She had met him one time after the reveal, and he had connected with her one last time. It was the full reveal and she had seen everything within. Naruto's entire purpose of existence was the world. Without the world he had no purpose. His life revolved around being the leader, and it was all that he desired. He desired to bring the world to a perfect end, and for it, he didn't care about his life. It was the reason that he could come up with plans that could lead to his death or his eternal damnation. He didn't fear the pain and suffering. His love was all-encompassing and he disliked not doing anything and seeing people suffer. Even a single animal wasn't allowed to suffer under his rule. He was a perfectionist that was extremely harsh on himself and others. He expected greatness from others so that they would succeed even when he was gone. All his plans took into account the fact that his existence was temporary. Seeing all of it brought her to tears. She wanted to tell him to put more thought into it. Why did he have to take responsibility for the universe? Why couldn't he be satisfied with Earth? Why did he have to put himself on a path filled with suffering? Bubbles had seen what Naruto expected from his path, and that path was filled with destruction of the heart and soul. She could never walk it and live through it. The darkness would consume her soul and force her to end her life, but she knew he would never listen. Everything was second to his goal. Knowing that, she was silent and Naruto left her alone. She had been lost in thought since then, and now she was filled with regrets. If Naruto can't handle it, there was no way she could help him. Bubbles believed that completely. Does it matter if my actions are pointless? It matters if I believe that my actions were worth it, isn't it? I will keep on regretting this day, so it is better to put my life on the line. I need to show him that my love is real. Bubbles threw away her blanket and favorite toy before catching them and putting them down gently. Sorry. Apologizing to her favorite blanket and toy, Bubbles decided to go find Dexter for help. Inside the lab led by Veritas, Dexter and Utonium, Bubbles found her sisters. It seems that they had come to a similar conclusion in their own way, and they had been faster in their decision-making. It was expected from Buttercup since she was hot-headed, but even Blossom made her decision. I thought you were too scared to come. Buttercup teased. I was scared of the pain of seeing it with my own eyes. Now I am willing to face that pain. Are you willing to die with him? Bubbles, you have the potential to be the strongest amongst us. It would be better if you stayed behind. Blossom tried to get her out of danger. She had tried with Buttercup and now with Bubbles. However, the result was the same. They were ready to step out their big sister's shadow and take the risk. Girls, I can provide you with the new armaments, but I don't have the authority to let you leave. You will have to convince Alessa or the council. Dexter agreed to give them the new equipment that was prepared for the girls. With Naruto's help and the addition of Veritas, they had managed to strengthen the girls to a higher level, and even made better equipment for them. Now the girls were star level, and with the armaments they would have additional abilities to boost their battle prowess. Thanks Dexter, we owe you one. Blossom and the other girls gave him a hug before flying away with urgency. You did the right thing, brother. Sometimes it is better to let them go, than to let them suffer. The girls are too emotional, and since they have chosen this path, it is the best for them. Didi hugged Dexter to lighten his heart as he felt worried about the girls. They were his friends and he was afraid of being the cause of their death. He knew that they might die, but if he denied them then they would slowly suffer and die. It was their very nature and none could take it out of them. It would have been better if Naruto had taken them by his side, but the man had thought of them as children to be protected. He hadn't understood their level of affection for him. The girls flew towards Alessa and argued with her to let them support Naruto. However, the ghost girl wouldn't listen because she'd been commanded to not let anyone leave the sanctuary. It was the reason that the girls became victims of depression and slowly lost their energy in the future. Their entire existence was based on being emotional. They were not supposed to face such negativity from within. It was their positivity and core qualities that Naruto loved them so dearly. To him, they were the perfect children that he wished for in the future. Bubbles knew that Naruto saw them through the lenses of a parent, but she strove hard to change that view. Fortunately for them, their future was changed with the appearance of the Legion. Dr. Mist appeared and told Alessa to let them leave. He also sent a command to Spirit King, Hercules, Queen Bee and Clarion to join the fight. It was filled with urgency as their lord was in danger. Without any hesitation, the girls flew through the hole they opened up. Getting back to the battle, Naruto had fought 59 rounds with the enemies and arrived on his last breath. His team had died after the 20th round, and the battle became harder after that, and he was unable to bring them back as expected. To make things worse, the foes continued to adapt to his fighting style and grew in power from the constant deaths and pressure. It was especially apparent in the Speed Force users, Merlin, Artoria, Superman, Ultrawoman, Wonder Woman, Raven, Ultima and Amazo. With their constant power increase and Naruto's stamina going down, defeat was approaching him. However, even in the face of assured death, he didn't falter and smiled with confidence. He was sure that victory would follow him. The only regret was that the victory would come at the price of the innocent. He didn't care about the punishment from the Spectre and other higher beings. "One more battle, partner? Then, let's go with a bang," Kurama replied with an excited expression. He wasn't sad about dying. Finally, he was feeling fulfilled. He was fighting beside the ideal partner and best friend. It was all he could ask for. It was an honor to die in battle with his brother. "What do you have in mind?" "We let the body act like the stars. Let our light shine on this accursed world one more time." "I see. I hadn't thought of such a sacrificial move, so I will let you take the lead." Naruto saw what Kurama was planning and understood it, but his partner was the one who thought about it. So, he let him do it. It was a move that would burn through his energy within few minutes, but the power increase would be legendary. Even till now, Naruto was operating on the atomic level and had yet to go further to the subatomic realm because of how uncontrollable the power would become. Now there was no reason to hold back, so Kurama helped Naruto go beyond the subatomic realm of enhancement. Using the experience, Kurama applied the principles of nuclear fusion to form the ultimate form. Focusing on the sage energy on the level of quarks and the chakra within their body on the same level, Kurama fused both of them on the subatomic level. Usually the sage energy was just fused on the surface level, and never on the atomic level. With this method, Kurama caused an extreme reaction as Naruto's body exploded with an intense light. He was like the sun, shining with golden light that burned away everything from existence. The power was beyond belief. Naruto had thought it would take him some years, but he reached the galactic level with this new mode. Baryon mode. Naruto was covered by black and gold energy that took the form of his soul weapon and armor. He couldn't conceal it or stop it from leaking. His very presence was the end of all things and reality was being erased. "I like it. Let us erase this reality that doesn't care about our existence. Let those fools above feel the wrath of humanity." Naruto declared and thought he had taken care of the enemies. However, Wonder Woman was still left along with Superman. Wonder Woman had fully awakened to the witch mark and reached a similar power, while even Superman had turned fully gold, and his physical power had reached the extent of crushing space with his presence. Haha! Naruto laughed crazily as he moved, and everything was erased once again as life was drained, reality was erased, and death energy was spread. No matter how powerful the duo was, they were still not his match because they didn't have the skills to go with their level of power. Pure strength beings could never fight him. He was the worst match for them. But just like before, they were just there to drain his stamina. "My lord, please hold on. We have arrived to provide support." Spirit King connected with him, and it stopped Naruto from continuing his annihilation of the galaxy. "Victory has blessed you, friend," Hercules said quickly as he could feel the power from countless solar systems. It stopped them from coming closer as even one step would erase them. Everything in the range had vanished, leaving a blank space in reality. Commanding them to stay their ground, Naruto tried to locate his foe with his new level of power. "Cowardly shadow, show yourself now. There is nothing that can defeat me now. I am the ultimate being and my mere presence is enough to defeat this maggots. Aren't you ashamed or tired of hiding? What would the people around you say? Such a powerful being scared of a being from the mortal realm, what a hilarious tale." Naruto joked and made fun of the foe to force him while focusing his attack towards the realms above. Holding the holy lance, he found the path towards the realm above. But it was not the location of his enemy. His enemy was in the mortal realm and came from the realm above. The lance could only reach the fourth dimension. However, he didn't stop trying and used it to find him. Letting the lance shine on the mortal realm, Naruto tried to locate the mole. While he was doing it, the heroes kept on getting revived and Naruto's power started to attract attention. Clarion, Bubbles, Blossom, Buttercup, Spirit King, Queen Bee and Hercules held their ground and stopped outsiders from getting themselves killed. Every kill would bring Naruto closer to the eternal damnation. They needed to stop it from happening. Now their orders were to incapacitate every being attracted to his powers. Vin was feeling furious beyond reason as he had watched his pawns get killed over and over. Even though it was his plan, it was never a good feeling to see your pawns get killed so many times. It was a loss in his eyes. He cursed the heroes at being too weak. He couldn't go beyond the solar system, or his conditions of defeat would become easier. He would have to provide clues to his foes because his presence was not usually allowed. Coming down to the lower realm meant either following certain conditions or putting restrictions on the power. No imp would restrict their power since they were too used to them, but they followed the rules set. Increasing his range would mean that he would need to risk himself further. It was also the reason why he didn't just increase the power of the heroes to an insane level, because it would require him to provide a clue, and he didn't think that Naruto would miss that chance. Just thinking about some lower being having the capacity to defeat him sent him on a destructive rampage. It was shameful beyond reason, and it meant that he was worse than XY. Mexai never really lost to his targets. He was careless and playful around them, so it was just a good-natured loss. On the other hand, Vin was going full serious mode. Should I descend and defeat him with my powers? Vin shook his head instantly as he felt his body shiver. He was scared of Naruto. How can this be? How can I be afraid of some filthy bug? Vin couldn't believe it, but his soul and body had accepted Naruto as a superior being if they ever had similar power level. Such a defeat of the soul drove him insane as he pulled on his hairs. With his fear saving him, Vin stepped back and watched the show. He didn't even feel the enjoyment anymore. He was completely pulled down from his throne and pushed into the dark pits of negativity. Grinding his teeth, Vin glared at the screen and thought about how he could make Naruto suffer. Just then he felt his body and soul shake. His personal dimension was shattered and he heard it clearly. He heard the voice of trillions of beings shouting his name in reverse. XVTKDNYV Vin KTD. Vin screamed in despair as he resisted the pull from above. His body was being forced to return to the fifth dimension. Just then he saw his hated rival smiling at him. Mexai, don't scream my name, Vin. You are making me blush. Mexi teased and watched him with amusement. How are you alive? You should always double-check your kills, Vin. That's the basic rule. Regardless, we don't have much time. You are being summoned by the Kingmaker Council, and they have decided your punishment. It is a fun little game. Hearing the name of the council, Vin shook in fear. The council was made up of the strongest members of their race and decided who will be the king. He would have no way to resist. However, what infuriated him was the amused smile from XY. It felt like he had been played. You made me do it. This is your fault. You manipulated me into making these decisions. In his last moments, Vin couldn't take responsibility for his deeds and blamed it all on MXY. He was starting to overthink things and starting to actually believe his nonsensical belief. MXY didn't correct him as it made Vin suffer more. Maybe I did, or I did it not. Who knows, do you? Smiling maliciously, MXY gave Vin an uppercut that sent him to the fifth dimension. Bon voyage. MXY waved him goodbye and turned around to meet Naruto. He had summoned Naruto for a talk. The young man had impressed MXY with his tenacity and mental strength. He was the ideal toy or game rival, though Superman was still more to his taste since the young man was too cold-blooded for his taste. Unlike Vin, MXY didn't like playing such harsh games, and his level of games wouldn't make Naruto sweat. But it would still be fun to play with him from time to time since he seemed to allow certain level of entertainment. You have suffered because of our people, and for that we allow you to inflict the punishment upon the culprit. XY informed him of the decision that was made by the council. They had seen how Vin was intimidated by Naruto, so getting punished by him would be the greatest shame of his existence. Looking at MXY, Naruto didn't know what to feel. He was unsure whether their savior really did save them, or was the cause of it in the first place. Why did he target us? Naruto didn't know about Vin and didn't see the conversation take place. That would be my fault. He found about my love for the mortal realm and especially the heroes, so he wanted to kill my favorite hero in all universes. I see. Thank you for the help. I will make sure to repay this debt. I would like to meet the enemy now. Naruto wasn't in the normal mindset, so his expression was neutral. He felt like MXY was responsible for it, and he purposefully led Vin into it. It didn't matter if he knew what Vin would do because he knew that Vin would do something destructive. You shouldn't think about it too much. This wasn't on purpose, just like, I was in the danger of dying and only survived because he was careless. Even my wife was almost killed by him, and she only survived by living in the mortal realm. I wouldn't usually explain such things, but you deserved it. I don't want to receive your undeserved hatred. Keep in your mind that I would never go so far as to destroy the world, or kill of the heroes permanently. How can I be called a fan if I am killing them? MXY could see Naruto's gear turning trying to find a connection. Apologies, I am not thinking straight at the moment. Naruto was unsure, but he knew that MXY had saved them, and getting that explanation gave him a better image of the man. He would check on these claims later, but for now he won't think about him with murderous desire. With that taken care of, MXY brought Naruto to a stage that had been made for Vin and Naruto. Naruto couldn't see anyone else but the council was watching them. After so long, Naruto finally saw his enemy. He looked pathetic. He didn't have much expectations since these creatures looked silly, but the red man was cowardly indeed. His powers had been restrained, and Naruto was allowed to do anything to him. Knowing Naruto's nature, Vin begged for mercy. No, it was XYZPTLK, and no one else can see it. He tricked all of us. The whole thing's a trick where he always wins in the end. Vin tried to change Naruto's focus so that he would stop. However, Naruto didn't stop and walked closer. Vin with his weak body couldn't run from him, and each step brought them closer. In his panic, the red man sprained his foot since he wasn't used to running. Eek, don't come any closer. Vin crawled backwards, but Naruto caught up and put his foot on the creature. Glaring at him, Naruto smiled, and just those expressions made the creature piss himself. Pathetic, I was playing with your mind, but I didn't expect my words to be the truth. You are a gutless coward. Look at you crawling because you lost your powers. You aren't even worth my time if not for your powers. It makes me angry that such a pathetic creature was responsible for making me feel these emotions. However, now you will remember with your soul why making me feel these emotions was the worst thing you ever did. Shh, don't cry. Don't make those expressions, they will never work. You should know, I feel nothing but pure hatred for your kind. Now, let me make you experience the appetizer since we have limited time. Naruto pressed him down with his foot and looked down on him. Getting down, Naruto smiled and his thoughts were clear. Vin struggled and tried to scream, but he couldn't make a noise. Naruto's hand caught his hand, and Vin experienced the pain of flames for the first time. Every part of him burned, and his pain receptors was working extra time. Naruto's powers were finally working against him, and they enhanced the pain, fear, and terror. Vin felt the pain, and he couldn't even get the saving grace of losing consciousness or feeling nothing after a while. No, his pain kept on increasing as Naruto's power took over his mind and kept on enhancing the pain infinitely. Following the burning pain, Vin experienced being beat up while being frozen and burned at the same time. Naruto treated him like a fodder with no respect at all and beat him senseless, breaking every bone in the body. Vin felt nothing but pain as his other senses were shut down. He couldn't see anything, he couldn't hear anything, or taste anything. The feeling of total darkness while only feeling the pain was making Go insane. His fear was rising through the roof, and if he could scream, he would have screamed out his lungs. Following the beating, Vin felt his bones being broken one by one. The pain reaching impossible levels, Vin couldn't think of anything but the pain. He asked for death over and over, but it didn't come. Naruto was patient and repeated it while healing him. Moving on, Vin found his head pushed into molten liquid. It burned through him while also drowning him. After that, Naruto pierced Vin with a spear through the anus and made it grow in size slowly, making Vin feel the spear grow and expand inside him, pushing his innards before splitting in half. Following that, Naruto undid it and fed Vin something. Vin had lost so much energy from the torture that he was happy with anything. Is it good? How about now? Naruto asked with a sinister smile, and Vin saw that he was eating his own foot. The scream that left his soul was deafening. Vin thought he couldn't scream anymore after that or even feel anything after it. But he was wrong, he was very wrong, because it only got worse. Vin was stripped naked and then firmly fastened within a face-to-face pair of narrow rowing boats with the head and limbs protruding. He was forced to drink milk and honey to the point of developing severe diarrhea, and more honey was rubbed on his body to attract insects to the exposed appendages, eyes, and genitals. He was then left to float on a stagnant pond under the sun. The defenseless individual's feces accumulated within the container, attracting more insects, which ate and bred within his exposed flesh, which became increasingly gangrenous. The feeding was repeated each day in some cases to prolong the torture, so that dehydration or starvation did not kill him. Death, when it eventually occurred, was probably due to a combination of dehydration, starvation, and septic shock. Death was incredibly painful, humiliating, and protracted. In just a minute, Naruto made him experience several days using his time manipulation that started working properly like all his other abilities. With that torture, Vin was done. He had been broken mentally. Just because you have gone insane doesn't mean that I will stop. Here is one last gift to remember me, and next time we meet, it will be eternal torment, unlike this short-term punishment. Pray that it will be a short wait, because I will be thinking about you every day and every moment. I will imagine what I will do to you, and you know how fast my mind works. Think about it and wait for me, because I will never forget this day. Naruto healed him up and picked him by the hair before whispering those words. Vin thought he would feel nothing anymore, but just hearing those words made him feel immense terror. Without having the ability to converse and beg, Vin was swallowed by darkness, where he experienced his flesh, mind, and soul melt while being devoured by beings of darkness over and over. Finishing with that, Naruto walked away and was sent back home. However, Vin's punishment didn't end with that, and he was trapped inside a dark pit where he was forced to fight many kinds of creatures, all having Naruto's features. It was Vin's worst nightmare, where he couldn't die. Returning back to his world, Naruto saw that everything had turned back to normal. The world was fixed and everyone was revived. However, humanity was still within his sanctuary, so the heroes were still angry at him. Fortunately, the team had explained to them about where the people were. But the team also learnt about what Naruto had done. Seeing him return, Bubbles and her sisters rushed into him. They had won, and Naruto had survived. It was a happy reunion, and hugging them brought back Naruto from the serious mood. Looking at the pure little girls, Naruto couldn't help but acknowledge their attraction to him. They weren't little kids. These girls were truly in love with him, and were willing to die with him. It pained his heart that he had almost caused them such heartache. However, these girls weren't the only one that were hurt by his actions. Kara was shocked by what he had done. He had used them to slaughter the heroes. I apologize for the pain I caused, but it was necessary. We would have never won or survived without such drastic steps. I am the emperor, so the survival of the empire is the main priority. For the survival of my people, our lives can be put on the line. I had to control you so that you wouldn't experience the pain of killing innocent lives. It is not because I didn't trust you. Please trust me, Kara. Naruto didn't make excuses for his actions and told it them straight. Taking hold of Kara's hand, he pulled her into his embrace. What are you doing? Kara was still unhappy by his actions. She felt betrayed and hurt by what had taken place. She couldn't believe that her body had been used to commit evil acts. It was hard not to see Naruto in a different light after such revelations. I think I am in love with you, so I am glad that we survived. Naruto told her honestly, and hearing his words, Kara also felt the attraction. Being in his embrace and hearing those words reminded her of it. She had been on the fence about it. What you are saying, stupid? Kara was embarrassed as he was saying such things in front of so many people. Those people couldn't believe that Naruto was enacting a romantic drama in front of them. I just wanted you to know, and I hope you will accept my path. This is what it means to be the emperor. People will have to die for the greater good sometimes, even if I don't wish for it. I will have to make sacrifices even though I hate making them. It is because we are weak. However, we will grow stronger and we will not let these situations repeat. You have all seen what took place and what could the result have been. I want you to think carefully and decide if you want to stand with me or against me. Do you really want our people to live such volatile lives where they could vanish in the blink of an eye? Do you want us to live at the whims of other beings? Are you not angered by the fact that it was just a game to them? Naruto let Kara go and further explained to them, and appealed to their minds and hearts. All of them were filled with indignation and fury at the moment, so it was easier to connect with them. However, most of the heroes couldn't trust Naruto after experiencing his sacrificial nature. They knew why he did it like that, but none of them would have used such a method. It was completely against their nature. On the other hand, Merlin, Artoria, Atem, Shiva, Olorun and Pongu didn't have a problem with him after the explanation, and agreed with his methods. You don't really have a choice but to accept me as your ruler. Everyone on Earth accepts me as such, so it is my victory. Naruto wasn't in the mood to play with them anymore. He wasn't going to kill them, but he would imprison them if they continued to harass him, though even that would be difficult without support because of the power burnout. Now Naruto was left in a weakened state and couldn't use his full power. He was reduced to star level until his energy regenerated. Then, how about you give us an assurance? From the battle it can be seen that we can't keep in check, or we have a very low chance of doing it successfully. Batman presented an answer to the hero's dilemma, as he knew that Naruto was forced into these decisions. After talking and fighting against Naruto mentally, he knew that sacrifice was never an easy option for the Emperor. The baptism of eternal light, it will ensure that you will never have an ounce of evil in your soul. Is that what you want to recommend? Merlin spoke up before him, and Batman nodded. Fine, I will do it once things have settled down. Now go and rest, it has been a long battle. Naruto agreed to it because he was also interested in taking part in this ritual, since it would further strengthen him and render him immune to corruption. With that agreed upon, Naruto sent them away while fusing the sanctuary with the normal world. It meant that Earth was always protected, and there would be no risk from the inside. Looking around, Naruto noticed that Lex was missing along with Amazo and Ultima. It seemed the three enemies had slipped by while he was gone. It was for the best, since he was at his weakest at the moment. Regardless, he would kill them since they denied his second chance. Turning to the remaining people, Naruto's eyes fixed on the little girl looking at him with guilt. I am sorry for what I have done. I thought you were my enemy, Alea apologized. However, it never mattered to Naruto and her words were wrong. It meant that she didn't care about the innocent lives that were taken by her actions. Her mindset was similar to most shinobi. I am not the only one that you should apologize to. There are countless people that suffered because of your actions and they deserve to see you beg for forgiveness. Child, your tragedy doesn't give the privilege to make others suffer. You are a criminal just like the filth that manipulated you. Learn from this chance or I will kill you the next time. Naruto's hand was upon her instantly, and Alea felt the large hand almost crush her skull before darkness devoured her. With that, Naruto was left alone with Kara, Raven, Pamela, Killer Frost, Livewire, Phoenix, Power Girl, Bubbles, Buttercup and Blossom. The boys had already vanished once they felt the romantic drama starting. Master, what do you mean by what you just said? Why is she special? Pamela had the most extreme reaction to Naruto's words. She was fine with sharing Naruto, but the fact that chose Kara was maddening. It made her feel worthless. It made her doubt her place. She felt like killing Kara for making a place in his heart. It is what it means. I like all of you. But, I love Kara. However, it doesn't mean that I will sideline you. I have chosen you, and I will never let you go until death takes you. Do you feel better now? Naruto took her into his embrace and gave her a kiss. Hearing his words filled with dominance and love, Pamela felt her feelings calm down. Her powerful self was sealed and she hugged him meekly. Looking at the scene, Bubbles covered her eyes with her hands and peeked through them. She felt greatly embarrassed by the open confessions and kiss. She wasn't alone as Buttercup also felt shy and nervous as she imagined Naruto doing it to her. Only Blossom saw the scene normally without a strong reaction. Though she didn't like it, it wasn't easy seeing the person she liked holding someone else. Does that mean you are willing to accept us? Blossom asked for her sisters as she didn't want to miss the opportunity. Looking at the smart girl, Naruto felt resistance. It was not because he didn't love them, but because he didn't wish to treat them in such a manner. They were such sweet girls. They deserved to get the love of a normal type of person. He was not the type that was far from the darkness of the world, and such things could corrupt the little things. But wasn't it the same for everyone else? He was the best. He was better than everyone. There was no better partner than him. If you are willing to accept this arrangement, then I will accept you. Can you handle such a thing? We have always shared everything. It shouldn't be difficult to share you. Buttercup spoke up instead with a line that made some of the girls chuckle. It felt like she was challenging him. Then I shall love you for an eternity, and make you the happiest girls in the world. Naruto replied with equal intensity, and showed them the love that they desired. Without any resistance they hugged him again. Watching everything, Kara wasn't sure if she wanted to become part of it. She felt like Naruto was definitely the best, but he already had others. There was no way he was about to let them go and it felt wrong to ask him to leave them. I will be leaving, see you guys later. Kara excused herself and flew at full speed. However, Naruto appeared in front of her after she was away from others. Let go of me. Kara pushed him aside as he had hugged her suddenly. With Naruto's power pulled down, Kara was stronger than him physically at the moment since she was above star level from all the power she had absorbed. Why are you denying what you desire? Speak your mind, Kara, let me hear it. I like you. You are the most important person in my life. When we are preparing for the fight, I could only think of you and how I hoped that we could continue together. But, you have others. Can you let them go? Can you make your number one and your only love? Kara couldn't hold back because of her volatile emotions and Naruto's powers working. She cried and held his shirt, looking him in the eyes, looking for the answer she desired, though it seemed impossible. Seeing her like that, Naruto hugged her tight. He didn't like it. He didn't want to see her so weak. Naruto's mind starting working, but there was no right answer. He felt resistance from his heart. It was going against his ideals and his goals. But the heart didn't control the body and it could never rule his mind. I am sorry, Kara. I can never choose such a path. I will always have to add someone for various reasons. Why? Why do you have to do it? To have powerful children with different powers since I am the last of my kind. For diplomatic reasons and to lower the fear and distrust of other species. Also, it is easier to control and trust someone that loves me unconditionally. I can't accept your answer. They all seem like excuses and you are really the worst. How far have you gone into this madness? How could you use people's emotions? Kara, they were criminals in the first place. I didn't even try seducing anyone that was good. Do you think it is hard? I could probably have most of these women in my hand by next week if I tried. Life is hard, so most people would prefer my company. Regardless, I told you that for a reason. I didn't have to. I want you to know how I think. Those girls know what I think. I have never hidden my agenda. They know I am using them and they want to be of use. Do you really want to deny me? Is there a better option? You will be happy with me, I guarantee it, and you know it as well. Did you feel left out or unhappy before this day? Was I not with others? I don't care. I didn't know then. I didn't know these feelings. Please just let me go. I don't want to hate you. It was a painful moment in a new way for Naruto. He had never been denied. He had never imagined falling in love and getting rejected. It was especially worse because he could take her, if he just let go one of his rules. However, he couldn't do it. He knew he would need to take other girls, and if he promised not to, then it would be cheating and he would be lying. Kara, I don't want to hurt you. I only want happiness for you, so please don't hurt yourself. I will let you leave and I won't push you. But I will be waiting for you. Naruto got closer and gave her a hug before disappearing while leaving a necklace around her neck. Kara cried as she heard his answer and felt like throwing the necklace but kept it and flew towards her sanctuary. She didn't want to see anyone at the moment. However, Naruto would never allow her to wallow in pity, so he sent Silver Banshee to help her best friend. Getting back to the other girls, Naruto turned to Raven. She was looking at the situation with a cold expression, trying her best to keep her powers in check. The battle had loosened her control and allowed Trigon to get more control over her body. Raven, you will stay by my side from now on until I solve your problem. For now I will apply some temporary methods. Naruto looked at her and his powers covered her up, sucking away the evil presence of Trigon while flooding her body with his positive power. It was enhanced by Raven's empathy collaborating with his. Feeling the emotions and care, Raven felt jealous that the other girls could experience something more. However, she also didn't know if it was safe to try something so delicate. She was afraid of letting those emotions exist. Plus, Naruto was surrounded by other girls. If she wanted him, she would like to push them all away. However, that didn't seem to be a possibility. Thank you for your assistance. I am in your debt. Raven agreed to his proposal since Naruto was the only one that could keep her in check. She was the biggest threat on the planet right now. Even during the battle, Naruto had to kill her quickly before Trigon's power leaked out, though there was also Vin's worry of Trigon interfering with him as well since the creature could fight against the imps and had already ascended to the 5th dimension. Regardless, Vin could have taken care of him with the weapons of the king. Finishing up with the harem, Raven and Kara, Naruto decided to take care of Alea's problem. Power Girl's issue was postponed, and she didn't mind sharing unlike her counterpart, so there was an issue of relationship as well. Though his feelings for Supergirl didn't enhance his emotions for Power Girl, they had the same body but the personality was different. They just weren't the same people, so the appearance wasn't going to make him treat them the same. It annoyed Power Girl and she took it as a challenge. Leaving aside the love struggle, Naruto left with his team to the other dimension and appeared above Konoha. It looked very different from his world since it was supposed to be the future. With their appearance, Naruto of the world appeared along with his team. It would have been a one-sided battle if he had appeared in the world, but now it was one-sided from the other side. The foes were too weak for him to take them seriously. Evil Naruto was just around large planet level while his team was a mix of moon and planet levels. Taking them down with utter ease, Naruto uncovered the truth of the world, and further learnt more about his own world. Evil Naruto was Naruto that had been taken over by Ishiki Otsutsuki. It was just after the 4th Ninja War and Naruto had become the hero of the world. He was the strongest being on the planet, and there was no opponent for him except his brother Sasuke. It was this carelessness that Ishiki utilized. Ishiki Otsutsuki was Kaguya's partner and brother who had come to Earth to devour its life force with the help of the Shinju tree that grew from the seed called the Jubi. Kaguya was supposed to get eaten by the Jubi like usual for the Shinju tree to grow. It was the normal process and the member eaten would get revived later. They had done it countless times and grown in power. Their goal was to become the ultimate being, and it was necessary since they couldn't taste anything other than the life force of planets inhabited by sentient beings. To them, planets were food and supplements to grow stronger. They were one of the strongest species in existence, and they could grow in power by just eating. They didn't need to train or learn anything, and they would still know everything by just eating. When they ate the life force of the planet, they also got the skills and knowledge of every being that died on that planet. With such a cheat skill they could aim for the universe and their king ruled as one of the top beings in existence. Ishiki dreamed of reaching the level of his king and sitting on that throne. However, that dream came to an abrupt end as Kaguya fell in love with a human and betrayed him. She backstabbed him while he was off guard and almost killed him with her ash bones. It was the ability to turn everything that was stabbed by it to ash. Ishiki was stabbed cleanly through and felt his body falling apart. He could only slow the process by making it small. However, it had covered half his body and he had to cut it off. He lost a lot of power because of it and had to run for his life. Barely escaping Kaguya, Ishiki was found by a monk and turned tiny to take over the body of the monk. Using the body of monk called Jigen, Ishiki lived in the shadows while watching over the world trying to find an opportunity to make a comeback. Kaguya didn't make it easy, and even left behind part of her soul to cause trouble for him. However, she was defeated once again, and Ishiki finally found the ultimate vessel that was easy to take over. Jigen went to meet Naruto in a quiet place, and Ishiki flew as a microscopic being inside Naruto's brain. Without much resistance, Ishiki was able to take over Naruto. It was especially easy because Naruto was not on guard and was in base form while Kurama was also sleeping. Ishiki could finally use all of his powers and the first thing he did was to fully absorb Kurama before devouring the other tailed beasts. However, he didn't destroy the planet. He had learned much over the years and decided to cultivate them. Ishiki decided to help the world become stronger and even fed them his powers. However, he couldn't hide the changes, and there were threats around him. He killed Sasuke and followed it with the others one by one. His team was made up cyborgs and his children: Boruto, Himawari, Kawaki, Delta, Ida, Damon and Code. All of these had unique abilities that would have been difficult to counter a month ago. It was especially true for Ida and Damon. Ida made it so that anyone that looked at her would fall in love, and she even had the ability to know everything that happened while she existed. On the other, Damon made it impossible to attack him as every attack would be reflected. It was not just the attack itself, even just the thought of attacking Damon would cause the opponent to get damaged or killed. Taking them all down, Naruto gave them to the Naruto of the world. However, not before undoing all the deaths and making the world normal again. Alaya was also finally set free of her darkness as she met her mother Kaguya. Emperor had a talk with Naruto alone, and he explained to him the mistakes that were made. Everything that took place was Naruto's mistake. It was his carelessness. It was his way of doing things. He didn't learn anything to protect his mind, and relied too much on pure power. There were so many ways that Emperor could have escaped in the same situation, and one of them was just moving around as a soul. Plus, he had mental defenses along with many other countermeasures to ensure that no one would ever take over his body. In a world with all kinds of miracles, it was stupidity to not take all kinds of measures. Naruto didn't need to hear the things from Emperor because he had already regretted everything for the past decade. He had seen everything. He had suffered alone and watched everything fall apart. He was not broken because he could not allow himself to fall apart. His family deserved more. He could not rest until he made up for his mistakes. He had already vowed to cover all tracks. He would never allow anyone to just approach him. He would always have something ready for sudden attacks. The world was not peaceful, and he had written that into his soul. However, it helped that Emperor actually gave him solutions and didn't just make him miserable. Emperor only wanted him to know his mistakes clearly with more details and gave him the skills to never allow it to happen again. Giving Naruto some powers, Emperor left the world with his team. The new dimension was added as his territory, and Naruto was his representative in that dimension. With that taken care of, Naruto took a long rest and the world started moving again towards the ultimate goal. The world accepted Naruto as the ruler after understanding what took place, and they were fully on board with becoming stronger to avoid such situations. Most people loved the idea of taking the fight to others and not staying in place to react to an attack. Nobody wanted to die pointlessly or suffer from a loss. They had already suffered too many times and Vin was the breaking point while Naruto's path was the solution. There were some people that still resisted and didn't accept Naruto. However, they learned not to test him and didn't dare break his rules. With the coronation finished, the world changed completely and had become a place where evil was impossible. The world became a place where good deeds were encouraged and rewarded while wrong deeds were immediately punished. The heroes and villains were given the choice to become legal members of the army under his command. Majority of them came under his rules while the others retired and decided to watch what was happening around the world. Infrastructure and technology jumped light years as the secret was out in the open and fully integrated into society. The whole planet was Naruto's territory, so all countries were pushed to the same standard and the planet was filled with enormous amounts of energy. Everything on the planet was showered with his powers and changed fundamentally. These were just the initial phases, and Naruto was taking it slow as he wanted the people to adapt properly without any difficulties. Even though it was slow in his eyes, Naruto was happy. Finally, he had truly become the emperor of mankind, and there was nothing that could make him step down from it. And guys, this is the end. I hope you guys enjoyed well. Until next time, peace.